What's up, guys? It is Monday, May 11th, and welcome to another episode of the Muay Diaz Combat Pubcast, man. We have a lot to jump into. What a great weekend of fights. Of course, UFC 328, Sean Strickland becomes new and once again middleweight champion of the world. We had Daniel Dubois defeats Fabio Wardley to win the WBO title. I'm going to do that in another breakdown. But I want to jump into the card of UFC 328. In New Jersey, it was probably one of the better cards of the year. And let's jump into the main event, man. Sean Strickland defeats Khamzat Chimaev, the boogeyman. And in the breakdowns before, I did pick Khamzat Chimaev to win this fight. But in the breakdowns, I did say what Khamzat needed to do to win this fight, do more of the same that he's been doing. You know, do what he did to Dricus du Plessis, do what he did to Robert Whittaker and everyone before them. But Sean Strickland was going to bring issues to this fight. You know, I said if Sean Strickland has a good chance to win, and in order for him to win, he was going to have to defend that first round, which we all knew Khamzat Chimaev was going to come out like a bat of hell, come out there, get the takedown. He was going to get the takedown. I didn't say if he could stuff the takedown. No, the first round, he was going to get that takedown. But how did he react after the takedown? You know, he couldn't just accept bad positions. He had to wrestle back up, fight up, you know, be defensively sound on the ground, on the mat, you know, not allow Chimaev to get around the neck, to really just force submissions right off the bat. And that's exactly what he did. The first round went to Khamzat Chimaev. The second round, we start Strickland and his corner is telling him, hey, that's the best he had. He's done. Now let's start working the game. Chimaev comes out. He goes for a shot. Strickland was just inside the black line. Chimaev shoots. Strickland does a great job of stuffing the head, shooting his hips in, you know, not just like backing up to the fence, but really shoving his hips back in, which put Chimaev on his butt. And then Chimaev just rolls back into a half guard position. So Strickland starts to go on top. And then this is the first time I've ever seen Khamzat Chimaev not only accept to go to his back, but then work his leg out and pull full guard. Like lock up his legs together into full guard instead of trying to fish for an underhook, try to get to a hip, and try to wrestle back up. Strickland controlled the rest of that round. Khamzat Chimaev, it takes about a minute and a half, 2 minutes. He gets back up. He goes for another shot. Strickland stuffs the head again, heavy hips down, and then Chimaev just rolls to his back. Instead of trying to chase that single leg, double leg, and then try to wrestle back up with it, he just bails. He bails on it and goes back to his back as if to say, like, come into my guard or let me back up. We've never seen Khamzat Chimaev do that. Ever do that. You know, he looked tired in the Gilbert Burns fight and the Kamaru Usman fight, but we've never seen him go to his back willingly and then accept the bottom position and then invite someone to come on top. Strickland won the second round. I had Chimaev winning the first, Strickland winning the second. The third round was like a toss-up round to me because a lot of people had it 2-2 going into the fifth, right? So I had 1-1 going into the third. The third round, they're on their feet. Neither one shoots a single shot, especially Chimaev doesn't even feint or attempt a shot in that entire third round. But the thing is, Strickland was landing the jab, but Khamzat Chimaev was also pressing forward the entire round, landing shots to the body, jab to the body, shoot jab up top, right hand over the top. Strickland would come back, jab, right hand, jab. So it was basically just like a 1-2 battle between the two guys. Strickland landed a lot of jabs, but Chimaev, I think, landed some bigger shots, overhand rights, and he put the pressure. He had Strickland on the back foot the entire time. So I know all the judges scored the third round for Strickland. I had scored it for Khamzat, but I could see how it could go either way. And I even wrote a note. This was a swing round, you know, because I thought either one of the guys could have taken that round, and that was going to be a big round. You know what I'm saying? So The fourth round, we move into the fourth round. Chimaev gets his second win back, and he starts putting a lot more pressure, landing a lot more shots. Strickland is still on the back foot, but he's not landing as many jabs as he was in the third round. I had Chimaev winning that round, and then, of course, the last minute and 45 seconds in that round, he shoots in when he puts Strickland behind the black line, shoots in, grabs a double, dumps him down, and gets to the back, and they're kind of like in this wrestling position. So he finishes the fourth round in a grappling exchange and has Strickland in a bad position, but doesn't really land a lot of damage. But I think that cemented the fourth round for Khamzat Chimaev. The fifth round, a lot more the same. Chimaev comes out, lands a big takedown early. He hits a double, cuts the corner, takes Strickland down. Strickland doesn't accept. He wrestles his way back up. They get back at distance. They're both landing. It looks like the third round all over again. I'm going to shoot a jab. I'm going to shoot a jab. And then Chimaev will come back. Jab, right hand to the body. Jab to the body, right hand up top. And then he shoots again later in the round. Gets another takedown. Strickland gets his way back up. And then it's back at the jab position. And Strickland's just shooting that shotgun jab. I mean, a great jab. I mean, I haven't seen a guy win a title off of a jab since GSP Koscheck, you know, when he was just firing that jab at Koscheck and had his whole face looking like ground beef, you know. And that's what Strickland looked like. And in that third round, too, that's when the optics come in for the judges. Because Strickland, a lot of people had him winning that round, but Chimaev was putting that 1-2 in his face, too. Had him backing up the entire round, and he was bleeding. His nose was broken. So it looked bad on Strickland's part. I know a lot of I think all three judges gave Strickland the third. I gave Chimaev the third round, but like my note said, it was a swing round. It could have went either way. But I had Strickland winning the fifth round. So my final scorecard was 47-48 in favor of Chimaev, but I could see it completely going the other way, 48-47 for Strickland, which he got the split decision. So everyone had it coming down to the fifth round. I had it coming down into the third round, that swing round in the third round, because yes, Khamzat didn't shoot a single shot in that third round, but he was pushing Strickland back the entire time. And I even believe Joe Rogan and DC mentioned, you know, Strickland is just shooting that jab as a defensive jab to try to keep Strickland, or try to keep Chimaev from closing the range and keeping the pressure. He didn't have a lot on it. It wasn't like he was moving forward with a hard shotgun jab followed up with a right hand. He was just shooting it like as he was moving back to keep Chimaev off of him. So that's why I scored the third for Chimaev, but I can completely see how it could have went for Strickland's side. Like, I'm not just bashing either guy, you know, because like I had mentioned, I did pick Chimaev to win this fight, but I gave reasons why Strickland couldn't win this fight. And all those reasons is exactly what he did. You know, he didn't accept bad positions in the grappling. He wrestled up, and then he tried to use that jab. He didn't throw, I don't believe, one teep kick like he usually is, that front snap kick that he throws, because he didn't want to get taken down. He didn't want Chimaev to grab it and give Chimaev an easy opportunity to scoop the leg and then run him over with a power double, right? So it was all off the jab. So it was a great fight by both guys, man. I personally thought Chimaev was winning the fight, but I'm not upset at all with Strickland winning the fight. It was a very tight fight. You know, it could have went either way, whether you had the third round being the swing round or the fifth round being the swing round. It was a great fight, man. And congratulations to Sean Strickland on becoming Annnnnd and once again the middleweight champion of the world. Great class by both of them. You know, at the beginning, no one thought they were going to touch gloves at the beginning of the fight. They touched gloves twice. They touched gloves at every beginning of every round. And then in the third round, Khamzat Chimaev like patted him on the shoulders. Sean Strickland kind of like bowed to him. And then after the fight, they embraced. Chimaev puts the title on Strickland after the decision was announced. So great show of sportsmanship by both guys. Strickland goes on, apologizes, and like, you know, I'm sorry for everything I said. I went too hard to sell the fight, but you know, Chimaev's a good dude and all this, and he went on about this in the UFC presser, post-fight presser. But that's what happens, man, when you're in a war like that. And I was watching Ariel Helwani's show earlier, and he said that Sean Strickland, it was like bogus, like fake, like he. And this is the thing, I get it that people that watch other sports and people who never fought before, like Ariel Helwani, and I love Ariel Helwani. Like I think he's one of the best, if not the best, mixed martial arts journalists in the game. But sometimes he has takes that I don't necessarily agree with, and I think this one was one of those because he said, you know, if you went 25 minutes with the guy like Chimaev and think you have a difference of opinion in that fight, because things happen in a fight, especially like if you're in a real war with somebody, and I'm gonna get to this because I've had my own experiences. He goes, you know, Strickland said all these things about his wife, his religion, his country, like things that are supposed to be off the table. But in the fight game, this is the fight game. Nothing is off the table. This is war. You know, you have to say whatever you can say to play mind games, to get in the opponent's head before you get into the fight, especially a fight of this magnitude for the world title. You know, Sean Strickland is known for going hard and saying like borderline, if not over the line, racist shit, and, you know, calling, you know, Chimaev a goat fucker and going after Islam and going after Chechnya and all these things. But these guys train together. They know each other, right? I think they might have known that they were both trying to sell this fight. That's why they were so, like, chummy in there, like, both excited to fight. But, you know, it's not like it was the Khabib Conor fight where these guys will never be in the same room together. They're never going to be friends. They hate each other. They really hate each other, you know? These guys, I think it's different. And it's not to the level that it was billed as, like, it's a blood feud and they hate each other. I don't think it's that. You know, it's not even John Jones, DC. You know, those guys, they do business together now, but they're not friends. Make no mistake about it. They are not friends. They don't like each other. But they can make money off of each other. So that's why they do the things that they've been doing as far as, like, the Russian Ultimate Fighter things that they've been doing. But Ariel was really going hard on Sean Strickland, saying, you know, all the things that you went after Khamzat Chimaev, you know, his family, his wife, his mother, the religion, his country, you know, he was like, if you went to war with somebody for 25 minutes, you can be like, you know, he was a tough dude, I respect him, but fuck him still, you know, like, I still meant everything that I said. And so he had an issue with Strickland apologizing. He's like, you know, he's fake. He just, you know, that's more than selling a fight. You know, you're going against somebody's family and all that. I understand that. Nobody wants to hear that. You know, there's only been a couple times where I've watched fights where I'm like, that might have been over the line. You know, one of them was like Conor McGregor going after Khabib's wife and his religion. But you know what? At the end of the day, they're going to fight, you know. And then Colby Covington going after Leon's murdered father. I thought that was kind of over the line. But that's the big difference, guys. This is not the NFL. This is not the NBA. This is not tennis. You know, if one competitor is talking shit about another competitor, say back in the day, if there was, I don't know, a Jewish quarterback or something, and Ray Lewis is like, I'm going to fucking kill that fucking Jew. I'm going to rip his head off. And, you know, I'm trying to go out there to hurt him and kill him. That would be a big thing, a huge issue. The NFL would step in, probably suspend Ray Lewis, and it would be huge all over the media, social medias, everything. Because it's a football game, right? They're playing football. This is the fight game. So you can say whatever it is you want to say, because at the end of the day, whenever they do that press conference a week out, 2 weeks out, whatever it is, and they're up there jawing back and forth, fuck your mom, fuck your kids, fuck your religion, you're a whore this, whore that, and they're going back and forth. At the end of that week, they are going to be locked inside of a cage, and both men are going to have an opportunity to legally try to kill the other one. That's the difference. This is the fight game. This is not play sports. This is not let me toss the football. This is not let me shoot a ball into a basket. It's not let me hit a ball with a tennis racket. You know, this is the fight game. This is the hurt business. So whatever you want to say is on the table. But you know there is going to be repercussions for everything that you say, because you're going to get locked into a cage with another man that you're talking shit about. This isn't somebody on the internet trolling somebody else's channel. It's not somebody trolling my channel and be like, you fucking suck, blah, 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 when he lives in fucking France or England or somewhere. I'm never gonna fucking see this guy. He's never gonna see me. So it doesn't matter what he says. You know, he can talk all the shit he wants and people are like, oh, you're going too hard, or he said this, are you upset? Fuck him. Fuck no, I'm not upset. These two men are going to fight. So if he wants to say anything he wants about the other man, they are still going to get locked into an octagon at the end of the day. And they will work that shit out. So Sean Strickland said he didn't mean any of it. All those things. He probably did. He probably didn't. But after those 5 rounds, they gained a respect for each other. I know this firsthand. There's been 1 or 2 fighters when I was fighting that I didn't necessarily like. But we went to war for 15 minutes inside of a cage when no one else could help. It was just us. And at the end of that fight, I had a respect for that man, and he had a respect for me. We gave each other 100% of ourselves because neither one of us wanted to be defeated in that fight. How many people can say that you give your absolute best, 100% of yourself to someone else? A lot of people can't say that they give their best to their own wives, their spouses, their boss, their coworkers, you know, your friends. You know, you might give them a lot, but you're not giving them your absolute best. 100% of you. You might give them 98%, 99%, 99.9%. But at the end of the day, are you giving them 100% of you? A lot of people don't. I'm probably one of those people. But when it came to the fight and we were locked in there, both of us wanted to win that fight, and neither one of us were willing to take a step back. And I gave my absolute best to this other man, and he gave me his absolute best. We are bonded for life because we know we gave each other our best. That changes people. That changes you as a person. Not only your mentality, your physical. I mean, our faces get changed. Our bodies get changed. When you give someone your 100% best, you are bonded for life. You know, there was guys where I didn't necessarily like them when we fought. I won't go as far as say that I hated them, but afterwards we embraced inside the cage, got out, embraced outside of the cage, went, had a beer, talked about our kids, talked about our families. And anytime I see these people again or they see me, we never greet each other with a handshake. It's always a hug, because we know that we share something that no one else in the world can share. Not even our wives or our kids can share what we shared. And that's what Sean Strickland and Khamzat Chimaev shared. It wasn't a drop down, bang out war like we've seen in the past, like your Rory McDonald's, Robbie Lawler's, your fucking Joshua Van, Tatsuro Tairas. But they said a lot of things against each other, and they went in there and handled it like men and had a respect for each other. So I understand. I know what Ariel is trying to say. Like, if you're going to say something with your chest out like Sean Strickland was, then stand on that. And don't be apologizing after the fight and be like, I was just trying to sell fights. Because, I mean, he did go at his mom. He did go at his religion. He did go at his country. So I can see where they're like, you know, either don't sell the fight like that or stand on business after the fight. But I'm telling you, these are men, these are people that are talking like this that have never been in a fucking 25-minute fist fight like these two guys just did. Or a 15-minute fist fight, a fight like that. So you don't know what happens in those minutes when you're locked inside that cage together. A lot of things can change. Emotions can change. Respect changes massively. Where before you hated this guy, but towards the end of the fight, you respect that person because you're like, he just gave me everything I could handle, and I gave him everything he could handle, and we gave each other our best. That's what fighting is about. That's why they embraced each other afterwards. You know, I know now that, you know, a couple days gone by, and Khamzat's like, you know, we're going to run it back again. That's normal, you know. You have a huge emotional adrenaline dump after a fight, especially a fight like that with so much on the line. I understand. But you can't fault the guy for apologizing right after a fight that he was in that was so close, razor thin close decision, for saying what he said. I don't always agree with what Sean Strickland says, but I respect him because that dude will say a lot of crazy shit, but then he goes in there and fucking fights like a man. And whether he wins or loses, he always owns it. Khamzat Chimaev, he just got his first loss. He's probably dealing with it in a certain type of way, but he was gracious. He showed respect to Strickland, put the belt on his waist. I mean, that's what fighting is about, guys. That's what mixed martial arts is all about, you know. So that's all I got to say on the main event. It was a great main event, a great card. I'm going to go jump down to the co-main event. Fight of the year. Joshua Van, the flyweight champion, retains his title against Tatsuro Taira. Joshua Van was the underdog at plus 135 in this fight versus Tatsuro Taira, who was minus 165. Tatsuro Taira comes out, dominates the first round. Joshua Van comes out. He gets taken down again. It's looking like it's more of the same for Tatsuro Taira. Joshua Van gets back up, makes space, lands a huge right hand, drops Tatsuro Taira, has him out. It looks like he was out. I mean, he was hurt bad at the very least, but I mean, he goes down. They showed it on the replay. He is down. He hit, his back hits, his chin hits his chest, and then hits the mat. I mean, I don't know how he survived that knockdown, but Joshua Van came in that end of that second round to get him out of there. But the third round starts again. Tatsuro Taira tries to shoot. Joshua Van stuffs and then pours it on. Lands a huge knee, which if you go back on the replay, it was an illegal knee because they're in New Jersey. And of course, the East Coast and some of these places are still going by the old rules where one hand means you're still down. Can't throw 12 to 6 elbows. But the ref didn't see it. So Joshua Van lands a big knee when Tatsuro Taira still had one hand down and jumps all over him. Almost has him out. Tries to get the finish by submission, rear naked choke. Tatsuro Taira fights out of it. I don't know how he makes it out of this third round. But Joshua Van wins the third round. Fourth round, Tatsuro Taira comes back. Finds his second win. They're going toe-to-toe. He's landing big takedowns in there. I thought I gave Tatsuro Taira the fourth round, and the fifth round starts. Joshua Van comes out, starts ripping to the body. His corner is like, you go to the body, you'll get the finish. And he starts doing exactly that. He throws a great front kick that got overlooked in the replay, but it hits Tatsuro Taira right under the left tit, right under the left pec, like right under the solar plexus. That you can see hurt him. Then Joshua Van comes in with a left hook straight right to the body, a left hook to the body, straight right hand, clips him with the left that hurts him. That's when he starts to fall off to the side, and then clips him with another left hook. Vitor Ribeiro, Shaolin is the referee, steps in. Tatsuro Taira, protests the stoppage, but I thought it was a good stoppage, man. Joshua Van retains the title. Calls Pantoja Penocha, which if you don't know what Penocha means in Spanish, it means pussy. And that's how you know Joshua Van's been hanging out with too many Mexicans in H-Town, Houston, Texas, man, because he straight up called Pantoja a Panocha. But Joshua Van, great performance. I think the fight against Pantoja is going to be great, man. I think this is going to be a real barn burner when they lock horns. Joshua Van, every time he got taken down by Tatsuro Taira, Taira was landing into like dominant positions, like full mount positions. Joshua Van did a great job of not panicking, isolating arms from Tatsuro Taira, then like moving his hips back towards his head, like kind of bucking him up, and then going to the hips and making space to slide his legs out from underneath the full guard to get butterfly hooks, and then starting to turn Tatsuro Taira one way or the other to fish for an underhook, lock down a half guard, and then work his way back up. That was something that was very overlooked, but Joshua Van did that so well, and that's what kept him in this fight. Because if he wouldn't been able to do that, Tatsuro Taira would have just rode him out round by round by round, because he got the dominant positions almost every round except for the third when he was just getting bulldozed by Joshua Van. But shout out Joshua Van, H-Town, baby. Represent Texas, baby. Let's go, Joshua Van. And still, flyweight champion of the world. It's so crazy to think just a couple years ago, the UFC was trying to get rid of the lightweight or the flyweight division. That is so wild. And now it's probably one of the best, if not the most exciting division in all of the UFC. The next fight down, Alexander Volkov defeats Walter Cortez Acosta, split or unanimous decision. I think they had it 29-28. I had Walter Cortez Acosta winning 29-28. I thought he put the more pressure. I thought he landed some bigger shots. I had him winning the first and the third. I had Volkov winning the second. Or maybe it was Waldo Cortez the second and the third. But I didn't see Volkov winning this fight, but they gave him the nod. I don't know what's going to happen with him, but I really thought Cortez Acosta pulled out the victory on this one. Next fight down, Sean Brady versus Joaquin Buckley. Sean Brady gets the win. All the stuff that came out the day of the fight of the lines moving so big because Sean Brady was minus 175 all week. Joaquin Buckley was plus 150, the underdog. And then the day of the fight, the line had moved all the way from Brady being minus 175, the favorite, to plus 165, as high as plus 175, underdog the day of the fight. So people were speculating that maybe he was hurt, he was injured, and that Joaquin Buckley was going to win this fight. Man, Sean Brady went in there and mopped Joaquin Buckley up all 3 rounds, 30-27. Just suffocated him with elite grappling and jiu-jitsu. Dominated Joaquin Buckley in this fight. So shout out Sean Brady. He's still ranked number 6. I don't know if he's going to get moved up after this win. He might move up 1 or 2 slots, but I'm not sure if he will. But great performance by Sean Brady. The opening fight on the main card, King Green versus the Lil Heathen, Jeremy Stephens. King Green was the big favorite. Jeremy Stephens was the underdog plus 350. But then he misses weight by 4 pounds. King Green still takes the fight and gets him out of there in the first round by submission, which is wild. He hurt him, dropped him, jumped on his neck, gets him out of there, rear naked choke. Jeremy Stephens looked horrible on the scales. I don't know if it's because he hadn't been in the UFC for a while or didn't prepare. I don't know, but he didn't look good. King Green wins the fight by submission. Tiba Gutierrez wins in the second round over Ozzy Diaz in the second round. I had a Tiba Gutierrez winning this fight. Joe Alvarez, I had picked him. He was the underdog at plus 160. He gets submitted in the second round by Yaroslav Amazov, the former Bellator champion, who's now on a good streak here in the UFC. I think he's going to be he's going to be a menace in the welterweight division as he keeps moving forward. He's at number 15. I think he's going to move up closer to the top 10. If he does break into the top 10, man, there's a lot of guys right now at welterweight who will gladly invite him in to the top 10. So let's see. The rundown so far. I picked Khamzat, Strickland wins. So I'm 0-1 right there. I picked Joshua Van to beat Tatsuro Taira. I'm 1-1. I picked Cortez Acosta to beat Volkov. I'm 1-2 now. I picked Sean Brady to win, so 2-2. King Green to win, 3-2. Tiba Gutierrez to win, 4-2. Joe Alvarez versus Yaroslav Amazov. I lost that one, so now I'm 4-3. Pick Grant Dawson to win. He wins a great submission victory in the third round after I thought he was down. Rebecca was putting it on him. Grant Dawson comes back and gets a rear naked choke submission in the third round. Pick Grant Dawson, so now I'm 5-3. Pick Jim Miller by submission, which I got him at plus 1,200 money. I put a 50 spot on him. Got 600 Billy Bones back. Should have put the whole 100 on there. God damn, I'm such a pussy. When Jim Miller fights, so now that's, let's see, 1, 2, 2-1, 3-1, 4-1, 5-1, 5-2, 6-2. So 6-3 on the prelims and the main card. The early prelims, I picked Khabibulov over Marco Tulio, so that's 7-3. I picked Pat Sabatini over Willem Gomez, that's 8-3. I picked Basinger Suskarayev over Jordan Santos, it's 9-3. And I picked Jose Ochoa over Clayton Carper, that's 10-3. So 10-3 is not bad for the night, guys, man. So I was feeling good about that. Came up with a bunch of cash this weekend. Great fights, man. Great bets. Yeah, man, but even the Hamzat Chimaev Sean Strickland fight, even though I didn't win the pick, I won the over because I picked over 2.5 for that fight in the main event. So, man, I was looking good this weekend, man. It was a great UFC card, and yeah, man, I'm excited. I'm excited for the next one, man. I have to look at it and see what's coming up next. But stay tuned. I'm going to do another breakdown of the heavyweight clash versus Fabio Wardley, Daniel Dubois that took place in England over the weekend. It was early before the Strickland Chimaev. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell so you get the notifications. Watch fights, drink pints. See you on the next one. Peace.